You hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/inkdependence keeps this channel ad-free. Hello folks, welcome to Ink Dependence. I'm Mike, and it is early October, so that means it's time to talk about what I was using in September, and I did keep a list this time, and so we're going to look at some of the stuff that I've been using. You can see some of them around here, but don't look at those, don't look at those. There just wasn't enough room for me to put everything out of frame. So, firstly, I've been using some of these little things. I got a bunch of paper samples at the San Francisco Pen Show from Yamamoto Paper. They were doing these little packs, and I got several of them, but I've been kind of trying to just use one at a time, give or take. And so this month I decided I was going to use these Soliste ones. There are 65 sheets here, and I think these pads were all like $3, maybe $4. I forget which one it was one of the two. And this is a very nice little paper. It's kind of on the ivory sort of side. 65 GSM, 75 millimeter squares. Very fun. And I actually found on the Yamamoto Etsy site the information about this paper. And so here's a little bit of information about it. Soliste, or Soliste, I'm not actually sure. Soloist? Maybe it's Soloist. Is produced at the Sendai Plant Unit 4 in Kagoshima, Japan. It was planned by a publishing sales representative. At the time, ground pulp was used for bulky book paper, so that the paper would be thicker even at a low bias weight and would not lose its backing. But ground pulp contained a lot of lignin, which caused the paper to fade when stored for a long time. The paper to fade, that's interesting. With the cooperation of the Sendai mill and publishers, we repeated trial runs of this paper, and in 2002, we developed a bulky book paper that does not fade, and they call it this. The name reflects our wish that publishers should become our soloists and express themselves freely. So, really interesting. There are different colors of this paper, apparently, and they've tested it so that even low viscosity inks won't bleed and all that kind of stuff. So, that's interesting, and it has been my experience. This also does not bleed. So this is my Pannonia Baraje ink, which is a really nice rich purple, and it's supposed to have some green sheen. You can see some of that sheen here in this paper. It hasn't eaten the sheen, although it's not super evident on camera. You can see it a little bit without the camera, or without this lighting, but nothing coming through the other side. And this is a Mont Blanc signature nib, which was loaned to me in this pen by a friend and viewer of the channel, and it is a banger. Look how big this nib is. 3 tines. We got like extra channels on the back. I need to do a video for this pen, but I'm just having too much fun using it. Oh, am I out of ink? Not quite. If I run out, I do have more Baraje, so I can totally re-ink it, which, is great. So yeah, really nice with this stuff. I use it for like little notes and that sort of thing. Like I had this little note about Papier Plume's The Count and when it was going to be available and that sort of thing. And you can see that it does a really nice job with all of these ink colors. And also there's a minor coffee splashing incident, and I forget exactly what happened, but I got coffee on a few things, including this. And the coffee didn't bleed through except right here at the edge, or it probably just kind of came around the edge of the paper, honestly. So that's pretty impressive. If you're making books out of this, this is a great book paper. Wow. So you can actually buy this in pads and that sort of thing over on their Etsy site, which I will link below in the description. And I like it. I hope there's a white color of it that I can maybe get that's a little bit brighter than this. This cream is a little bit, maybe a little bit too cream for me compared to some white paper. Like this is just a white Post-it. You can see it's fairly cream on here. But yeah, beautiful stuff. All right, so Soliste, really nice. All right, let's talk about a few small, colorful things. And that is, I kind of went back and got some LePens. I actually picked these up at a place called, actually, does it say there? No, it doesn't. At a place called Pop Shelf, which is kind of like, I don't know, think of it like as an upscale dollar store, I guess. Like it's just kind of got a lot of fun things. And one of the fun things they have is actually pretty good pens. You can get lots of Zebrite pens there. You can get these awesome LePens by Marvy. These are some pens that I remember back in the day I would like find in my mom's purse or something like that. They're usually, they're always very skinny. They are a porous point plastic tip pen, so direct ink flow sort of thing, and these are extremely bright. This one's a little bit too light for me, I think, but the teal and also, what do they call this one? Magenta, although it's definitely violet or something. These two are really great, just bright, clear lines. They write easily. They don't tend to bleed through things, which is very nice. It's not going to bleed through this anyway, but doesn't tend to bleed through stuff. Really great for use in my planner, great for annotating things, just really fun. These little Marvy LePens. Perhaps you remember these from a while back as well. Guess what? They're still out there and they're still very good. Next up are these Zebrites. I have a lot of highlighters and that sort of thing, and I keep them in a big block over here, a big zebra block. And these are ones that I hadn't really used, and so I decided to rotate them into heavy use this last month, and I have not been upset about that at all. These all have really good color to them. They have two tips, so you have on the front the sort of chisel tip that you're used to from highlighters. On the other side, you have the much finer underlining tip that you get in a lot of really nice highlighters these days. I'm glad that's becoming more standard because you don't always want the chisel tip. Sometimes you want something thinner for underlining, or in my case, I like the thin one for outlining blocks of time in my Hobonichi or in my Kokyo planners. They are really great for that. They have good colors that are not super in your face. I mean, they're a little toned down, even these fluorescent like oranges and yellows, but all of them, including the blue, which sometimes can be a bit too dark, are great for highlighting, and they're great for outlining, blocks of time or whatever else you're using them for. So check out these Zebrites. They are really nice highlighters, and they're not terribly expensive. Totally worth checking out. Zebrites. Nice. I'm a fan. Next, on small things, I recently got this Uniball Kurutoga, and I had not gotten a Kurutoga before. It has this nice like rotating thing in here in the tip, which will help it to rotate. So every time you put it down, it will rotate the nib for you. Nib, the point of the pencil. And so it doesn't get super chiselly. You can see it's a little bit chiselly right now. I must have been writing a little bit too much without picking up my pencil, but when you pick up and put it down is when it will sort of rotate itself, so that it will kind of keep it, more pointy instead of getting that hard chisel that you will sometimes get on a mechanical pencil lead. And it's been really nice. I actually think this is a very good pencil. The only thing I would complain about is I like a retractable pipe. I know not everybody does, but if I'm putting this in a pocket or something, I'm gonna stab myself. And so there are some places I just don't want to keep this pencil when I'm carrying it because stabby pipe there. But the pencil lead that came with it is perfectly good. I got a piece left in there at least. I have some other pencil lead that I will refill it with, but kind of making me a mechanical pencil liker. Also, it helps that it has the BT21 RJ on here from my boy Jin from BTS, so that's fun. I found this at Jet Pens, and you can probably get it there now still. I'm not sure how many of them are still around. This is like rubbery, this little ring up here. Oh, I never actually noticed that. Interesting. I don't grip it far enough down for that to be a deal, but that feels pretty good. If you grip it real close, I guess that'll give you more purchase. I'm not really sure. But the grip here is perfectly fine. It's got some ribs. Feels nice. All right, just a couple more standard sort of pens before we get onto like fountain pens and ink and paper and all that sort of thing. These are a couple of pens I've been using a lot this month. This is the Owl Rescue from Retro 51. I've got like 4 Retro 51s in the last couple of months, but this is one that I've been reaching for a lot this month, just because I really like the feel of this thing, and it's a ballpoint, which I enjoy. I really like these glowing eyes. It is a lot of fun. I actually do have an unboxing or something for this, I want to say. So, I should post that soon because I just haven't done it yet. But I really like the bronze wash over the top. I love the feel of the acid etched barrel because it actually gives you a good amount of grip. And sometimes these tornadoes, when you get the the smooth ones, sometimes they can feel a little bit slippery. Not too bad, but a little bit sometimes. And these acid etched ones are really great for that. Just like the one of the other ones I've been reaching for lately is the Sageho one from Rickshaw. Actually, I think some of these might still be available over on Rickshaw's site. So grab one of these because this is great, and it feels super good in the hand. I like the extra tactile nature of these things. And then speaking of Tactile, this is a pen from Tactile Turn. They had some of these at the San Francisco pen show, and I picked one up. I think they'll probably be making more of these sometime soon, but I haven't seen them on their site yet. This one's made of aluminum, so it's a lot lighter than the red metals like copper and bronze, or even the titanium ones. Just a very light bolt action pen here. And I recently got in one of my Jet Pens hauls a dark red version of the the Pilot Juice. The Pilot Juice is my favorite Pilot gel refill. I think it's a great refill. It's better than the G2 for my money, and it comes in a lot of awesome colors, including this dark red, which is kind of purpley and actually fits this very well. Until this, I had a purple G2 refill in it, which is just not quite the right shade of purple, but for some reason this dark red really does fit this for me. And I don't generally go matchy-matchy on pens and ink for fountain pens, but for ballpoints and gels, for some reason I like that, so I kind of do it there more. So yeah, really nice. I like this. I like the feel of this aluminum one. It doesn't have the full ribs like you'll get in the other Tactile turn stuff. It's just kind of here at the grip, and it's nice. I've really been digging this one. Also, the anodizing job is hot. Okay, so let's talk a little bit of paper and leather. This is one that I did an unboxing for a little while ago. This is my Goby leather cover, and I've had it in use the last couple of months, and it has been really good. So in order to keep it together, because I have a bunch of random stuff in here, including my Jabun Techo. This is like light mini one, which I just kind of have stuck in there. It could fall out, and so I have this like little pen loop and I don't know what you call this thing. Actually, this is a pen loop with a stretchy thing on it. This is from Endless Stationery, I think. Not Endless Pens, but like the company that makes like the paper and all that sort of thing. So like the Endless Recorder and that sort of thing. And this came with one of their cactus leather journal covers. And so I've moved it over to here, and it's been working great on here. It keeps everything kind of together, lets me put a pen in there. This is what I take to class with me all the time. So this has that metal wire situation in there instead of elastics, and it has been working really well. The way that I actually will usually do it is I'll move it every other week, because just the way I use this notebook for class stuff, just that's how it works out. And then I can just open it and it'll open right to that page, which is real nice. And then in the back, I have one of these traveler's notebook things, which is meant to go in traveler's notebooks, of course. So it's got like this fold over plastic deal, and that's meant to kind of protect it. But in here, I just put it under both of them, and so when I just flip this over, I have access to a whole bunch of different kind of sticky notes, and these sticky notes are very good. They're excellent for fountain pens and all that jazz, and it just kind of slips underneath the wire here like you would stick in a secondary notebook if you wanted to, but I don't use a second notebook. I just use it for post-it notes, because why not, or for Midori sticky notes, and that kind of goes in the front, and then that flaps over. So it has been getting a little bit of, you can see wear marks and that sort of thing. And some of that's from this rubbing against it, and some of it's just from being in a bag and that sort of thing. But you see, like, this is turning slightly more orange on the back just from being, open and closed a whole bunch of times. The wire is holding up just fine. I'm not worried about that coming loose. But this is really nice. So go check out Goby Design. This is a very cool notebook cover. And, check it out. You might like this. It's really pretty and well made. All right, let's talk fountain pen inks and fountain pens inked this month. There are a few of them, as you can see here. So let's go through them. So firstly, I have this Bennu Sunday by the Pool, which is our first Bennu. We've talked about it a couple of times. This was designed by our friend Eric Gamma at Amarillo Stationery and sold by Endless Pens down in Florida. Beautiful colors on here, and I decided to fill it up with this DC Pen Show exclusive ink by Andarillium called Potomac, which is very near where the Pen Show is. It's also a river that runs through there. It's a town, all that jazz. And you can see it is a beautiful, like, kind of medium dark blue. It doesn't go as far as navy, but it's, got some nice shading, a little tiny bit of sheen there occasionally. Real nice. Next up, Navalur, Narwhal, and Galen. This is a Galen leather pen that they did with Narwhal, and it's one of their piston filler ones, and I filled it up here with Robert Oster and Atlas's Vampire Pigeon, which I recently got from Atlas Stationery. I'll have a video on that coming soon-ish. This is a really nice bright red with a bunch of shimmer in it. Let me get my flashlight out so you can see the shimmer better. There we go. Bunch of shimmer going on in there, a couple of different colors of shimmer if I'm not mistaken. Flows really nice bold red, not the most bloody red that you would ever see, but Vampire Pigeon is meant to be a bit whimsical, and I think this pulls it off. It's been nice in here. And of course, this is a double broad nib, so it's got plenty of room for that red to flow. All right, next up we have Diamine Sugar Turtle Wet Turtle here in this TWSBI 580 ALR Sunset Yellow, which is just a gorgeous orange, and I knew as soon as I saw it that I would have to get this one. This is a medium nib, and this Sugar Turtle ink has been looking great in there. I really have been enjoying that ink in this pen. Used up it's about half full now. So in the last month, I've gone through half a fill. That's not bad when I have like 70 pens inked. Next up, TWSBI Eco, Indigo, and Bronze, which is this one right here. And you can see it had a bit of a bloop. I had been messing with the nib or something, and as soon as I touched it to the paper, it went bloop. So if you get a drip out of your TWSBI pens, it's probably because your nib and your feed are not set correctly. You just need to push it in just a little bit, and it hasn't had a problem since. That was absolutely the problem. And it's full here of Vinta Enigma, which you can see is a nice sort of, I don't know, not quite teal, I guess, but a very light blue, kind of a sky blue-ish. A little bit more green in there. Maybe it's a very light teal. I'm gonna go light teal on this one. Full of bright blue shimmer, and you can see all that shimmer in that ink in here. Vinta does not go shy on shimmer in their shimmer inks. You can see it in the feed there. You can see it on the back of the nib. Really cool. And I've really been enjoying this ink in this pen. It's great to watch it flow back and forth. I like watching that shimmer move. Quite good. Has not done any, let's see if I can, no staining or anything, obviously. So good stuff. You can see where it pushes the shimmer. That's really fun. So yeah, it's been good in there. And also this indigo and bronze pen. Look at that bronze colored nib. Absolutely beautiful. Love this. This is a great addition from TWSBI. Good job, TWSBI. Next up, this is a Shown Design pen that I picked up at San Francisco. I have been just admiring this pen for quite a long time at several pen shows, and this was the last one, so I grabbed it. They might make more, I don't know, but I got this one, so I'm very happy with that. And in this pen, I have one of my mic face nibs. You can find these on my store, a little self-promotion there, I guess. And this has Diamine's Gruntled Guava in it, which is a really interesting colored ink that I kind of was afraid I wasn't going to like. But yeah, it's actually very nice. I like that. I like that a lot. It's real fun. I put hybrid. Is that a hybrid? That must be a hybrid nib, I guess, which is interesting. I forgot that I had that on here. Next up, London Pen Co. pen Christopher 14, which is this one, which has a bunch of sides. It's got like these flat sides on the cap, and the barrel is cylindrical. And I have in here Diamine 150 Golden Honey. I have been having a little bit of issue with this one drying out more quickly than I would like. I don't think I've really used that much of this Golden Honey, so I kind of think the material this is made out of is a little more gas permeable than would be great for a fountain pen. So this is going to have to be a pen that I'm going to have to use more in order to keep that ink liquid in the pen and not, drying out and evaporating through the material. That's my best guess because there's not a lot of room in this cap or anything, and it does close tightly. So I'm not really sure. I think it's got to be gas permeability in the material, but it's super pretty. So I'm not going to like put the pen aside, but be aware with that with some of your pens. It might not be a design flaw. Like this one has, the threads are great. It does close tightly, but sometimes the materials will have some permeability that others won't. So maybe the cellulose acetate does that. I don't know. It's my guess for right now. Just came up with that guess. Next up, we've got Waterman's Serenity Blue in this pen, which is a new to me Mont Blanc 146. It's the second Mont Blanc for me, and I guess third in the house. And this has a medium nib on it. And medium, maybe is fine. Yeah, fine nib, I suppose. And I wasn't sure how this was going to write, and so I wanted one that would be easy to clean because it is a piston filler and you can't take out nibs and that sort of thing. So that makes them a little bit more of a challenge to clean. And so I went with an ink that is super well behaved and that I know very well, and that is Waterman's Serenity Blue. It's not my favorite blue. It's a perfectly cromulent blue, but it's not exciting. I'm going to put something more interesting in this pen next time, I'm sure, but this has been working really well in there, of course. Serenity Blue, great diagnostic ink. If your pen doesn't work with Serenity Blue, it's probably a pen problem. Similarly to Aurora Black, but not nearly as wet. This is a very medium sort of ink. Next up, this Bexley Phoenix, I've already cleaned it out because it needed a good cleaning. It actually had some black ink in it left in it, and it altered the color of the ink over time. So I refilled this ink into Lamy Nex. This is a Lamy Nex that I picked up, I don't know, a long time ago, years ago anyway, and It's one that I just haven't used very much, but it does have a very nice 1.1 stub in it. It writes very nicely. It's been great with The Count from Papier Plume. This is a spooky season ink that you can still probably go and find over there at Papier Plume. Beautiful kind of burgundy wine blood combo. Real pretty. Next up, this is a pen that is new to me and is super gorgeous. This is by E.T. Turnings. You can find them on Instagram and Etsy, and the pen material is Operex of the cap and the bands. And the section in here, and then the body is some custom pour called Ghost something, I believe. But this material is a synthetic opal, and it's gorgeous. I think it might be made of like ground up opal. I actually don't know, but it is super awesome. Like more color shifts and chatoyance than I've ever seen in a material before. It just kind of blows me away every time I look at it. So I knew I needed a fancy ink for this that was going to be kind of stand up to that color. And so I went with this Wuthering Heights Wearingeul ink from Endless Pens. You can see there's a whole bunch of shimmer in this one as well, right there. And it's a sort of like moody teal color. Which is very fun to write with, and I have it in a broad sig. I had this in a couple of different nibs. I don't have a lot of number 5 nibs, which is what this one takes, but I put it in like a fine, and this shimmer didn't really want to flow in there, and I put it in an italic I had. I was like, I don't know, I'm not loving this either. And then I put it in this broad sig, and it is great. So sometimes it just takes a little bit of work to match the right ink and the right nib and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's working great in there now. So you can find that at Endless Pens. Next up, this is another Endless Pens. This is actually the Opus 88 pocket pen Illusions. Which is a really cool little pocket pen. I had actually not had any of these tiny Opus 88s before. These are always going to be eyedropper fillers or Japanese style eyedroppers. So they have this little like stopper up here, so you can stop the ink at the section if you want by screwing down the finial. Do remember that if you leave the finial screwed down all the time, you will run out of ink eventually. You just have to open it and it'll start flowing again. But this has a little number 5 nib in here. And it's good to have, I think, this stopper on a pocket pen because you can stopper it up, throw it in your pocket or your purse, and you're not going to worry too much about it getting jostled and making a mess. You can see there's a few spots of ink here on the nib, but it is a pocket pen and I do leave it open. So, that's going to happen. If I closed it, it wouldn't have. But you can see in here, this is a nice, very dark ink with a bunch of interesting shimmer. So let's take a look at this on this paper here. And it looks like this. I think it might actually be a super dark blue. But it's kind of, well, no, I don't know. Maybe it's kind of a gray. It's hard to say with these inks that are not quite straight up black, but really pretty kind of rose gold, I think, shimmer in there. We're having a video on this soon as well, but I've really been enjoying this in this pen. It's been a good combo with this broad nib. This was also a pen and ink that went out to one of the winners of my 10,000 subscriber giveaway, and I hear that it has made it to that winner. So congrats, that's very fun, and I hope you enjoy it. Find these at Endless Pens. Next up, we have this Jinhao X159, which a viewer sent me. Thank you very much, a viewer, for sending me this pen to check out. I don't make a habit of buying Jinhaos because I've had so much disappointment with them in the past and like other things, and it's like, nah, pass. But he's like, you need to check out this X159 because it has this big old nib on it. It does have a number 8 nib. This is a very large nib on here. Let me find a number 6. This is a number 6 for comparison. So the number 8 is quite a large nib. It's very broad, like wide on this one, and a bit longer, of course, too. But it's very, very like wide at the shoulders, which is interesting. I'm not like head over heels with it. They're not terribly expensive pens, which is good. It does write perfectly well. The first ink I put in it did not want to write with it at all. And so I decided probably I needed to clean this nib and feed and stuff, make sure there weren't like, manufacturing oils, because I don't always clean a pen before I ink it up. It's just not really how I work. I want to ink up a pen. So I cleaned it all out, and then I put an ink in there that I was pretty sure was going to be great. And that is this Dominant Industries Periwinkle, which is a very pretty blue, sort of a light blue with a little bit of a purple sort of hint to it. Dominant Industry makes some really nice inks, and Periwinkle is a lot of fun. So yeah, it's been working just fine in this X159's big old nib there. Is that it? yeah, that's it. That's all I've inked up this month, which is, you know, still kind of a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. But hey, after 2 big pen shows, that's restraint, y'all. Restraint. So we'll see what I ink up for October. It's probably going to be just as bad. So, you know, that's how it'll go. So there you go. This is some of the stuff that I've been using this last month or so. And, you know, go check it out. Find some of these vendors, try out some of these inks and pens and stuff. Let people know I sent you, and I'll see y'all in another video very soon. Until then, peace out.